Could you please say your name and your age towards me?
I'm Odelia Yu and I'm 17 years old.
My name is Michael Cassidy and I am 17.
Emily Lawson and I'm 14, 15.
I'm Francis and I'm 17.
Nico and I'm 16.
My name's Charlie and I'm 17 years old.
My name is Christopher Bayliss and I am 22 years old.
Are you a fan of the drum and bass genre? Did you know the track already?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, kind of.
Not particularly.
I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan.
So you've seen the video.
Yeah.
What do you think works well? What did you like about it?
I like the range of shots. Like I really like the bit where he touches her and she turns around and there's like a real extreme close-up of her eyes. I thought that was really effective and good.
The video is very strong throughout.
It's gorgeous camera work and fantastic editing.
I thought just every shot was stunning. The camera work is just gorgeous.
My personal favourite shot, I would have to say, is probably the smoking shot, where obviously you lean back and the changes in focus. I think that is absolutely gorgeous.
The shots, especially of Owen while he's singing, the close-ups are just beautiful.
And I love the UV performance.
The use of camera work is very good. There's a lot of crash zooms, whip pans, that kind of thing, which work really nicely.
And I think the storyline is just brilliant of the narrative. Well, it kind of shows there's like a clear storyline. The fast-paced editing, I think that really adds speed to it and I think it keeps your interest.
Strong ending with it. The fact that it goes into neon at the end and everything else, it kind of really wraps the video up nicely and leads to a big punch.
What did you dislike or what could be improved about the video?
I wouldn't say I disliked it, but it might cause an issue with some people, is how played down the fact that he hits the girl.
First time watching it, I didn't quite understand like the sequence where you walk up to Eva and you put your hand on her shoulder and she turns around. I didn't quite understand how that was repeated the first time around I watched it, but watching it the second time and from then on, it makes more sense.
Like, there's been controversy with like Rihanna's videos, for example, like Man Down, where she kills the guy and stuff like that, and so I don't know, it doesn't personally offend me, but it was an issue maybe.
There's a really quick transition between fighting and then the kiss. Maybe you could have a larger pause, I don't know, because I think the switch was slightly too fast and it could confuse audiences.
What did you dislike or what could be improved about the video?
To be honest, there wasn't much. All I could say really maybe the framing and the shots between the two characters could have been a little tighter maybe.
The middle section loses itself slightly. There's two scenes I think where it's him running into a dead-end alley and then not being able to do anything. That in and of itself is a good idea, but when it's repeated twice like that, it lost some of its effect.
What target audience do you think the video was made for?
Well, a young audience.
Yeah,
Probably.
young, like 16 to...
Think male or
16
female?
to 24.
Yeah, male. Yeah.
Probably like 16 to 24-year-olds, so teenagers, young adults, just anyone who just likes the genre.
I would say it's probably more oriented towards 16 to 24 male, something like that, probably with a secondary audience of a few females in there, and obviously just fans of the drum and bass genre.
More male orientated, with the band being predominantly male.
Kind of older teenagers and
Early
maybe
20s.
young adults kind of thing.
I think girls can like it as well. I love it, so.
Great.
I would say 16 to 24-year-old males predominantly.
You're probably looking at between 15 and 28-year-olds, people who usually go to clubs and drum and bass nights. The sort of people who you can imagine really being into their music quite heavily. But there's also quite a bit of flexibility for a mainstream audience because of the fact that there is a strong narrative, there is ease of access to the video, and there's a lot of visual pleasures that just enable a lot of different users to access it.
Just very briefly, what do you think the narrative was about?
He is being haunted by a girl, possibly like an ex-girlfriend, I get the impression, obviously because of this kiss at the end.
A young man being chased by his dead girlfriend, essentially.
Right.
Ghost haunting him, that kind of thing.
Girl who's like a dead ex-girlfriend just running after her boyfriend.
It was about this guy, and then this girl was kind of following him, but she kept disappearing.
But it's all in his head. And I think that's conveyed really well. That's one of the strengths of the video, that you understand that she isn't there because of the good like match on actions where she's there and then she's not. I think that works very, very well.
I thought maybe the girl could be a representation of just himself and his own conscience. So he sort of has to get rid of this fear. So he's running and running and there's just this fear behind him. And the only way he can get over this fear is by confronting it. So that's at the end when he confronts her and kisses her at the end.
And then
I think that the girl was
Yeah.
in his head all along, so it was about him just his mentality. Was just
Someone who is having issues in and of themselves, and they can see them appearing in the form of the ghostly figure who is stalking them throughout the video, and in the end they manage to get over these issues via the kiss at the end.
Do you think the video is effective as a debut release?
As a debut release, it does have some very, very good moments in it.
I would certainly say it is good as a debut release because it is very much, like we said, there's a good split of narrative and performance.
You get to see a lot of the band during the performance, you get lots of close-ups, so you get to see a lot of the band, so yeah, I would say so.
You see the performance shots, you see what they kind of look like, and you get a clear idea of like the genre of the music. I would say, because I've seen the process, I know about the logo and everything else, I think maybe it could have been the brand identity of the band itself could possibly have been exploited a bit more. Maybe if you ended on an image like that, or there were a few more visual motifs of the logo, because I know that's quite important elsewhere in the branding, so maybe if you just exploited that a bit more.
It does lack some beauty shots, but within the first sort of 30 seconds you're introduced to each band member in their own shot, and it's quite nice constructively that it has that, here's this band member, here's this band member.
The performance very much displays the band, shows them off, which I would say makes it very good for debut.
Would you be interested in listening to or viewing more of this band's work?
Definitely!
Absolutely. I really like the style of the music. It's very, very good.
It's a good song.
Absolutely.
Of course, the video's great, it's very catchy and everything else.
Would you watch this video again?
Oh, of course, it's got great playability.
Oh yes, many, many times.
Of course I would.
Yes. In fact, I've watched the video multiple times. The first time I even cried.
Then once you've watched it, it's almost like you want to watch it again because you want to see if you can spot her elsewhere, or you just want to see how many times she comes up and where she's haunting you from, and just, I think it's very repeatable.
Good.
Which is good.
And finally, would you give the video a rating out of 10, please?
I would give this video a very strong 9 out of 10.
I would very happily give it a 10 out of 10.
10.
I would give it a 8.5.
I'd give it a 9.3.
A solid 9. 10.
Yeah.